All right, guys, I just got to start off this video with just a round of applause for the Spurs. I mean, the fact that they came into this and just finessed. The Bulls and the Kings both got absolutely finessed in this deal. I can't believe that this happened. Like, the fact that they didn't give up somebody young like Stephon Castle or Jeremy Sohan or somebody like that, even Keldon Johnson, somebody young in this deal is absurd. So if you guys didn't hear, the Spurs acquire De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings acquire Zach LaVine, Sidi Sissoko, 3 first-round picks in 2025 from Charlotte, 2027 from San Antonio, and 2031 from Minnesota, and then 3 second-round picks. The Bulls get Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and then they receive their own 2025 first-round pick back to themselves. Now, from what you can initially hear is like, oh, the Kings got Zach LaVine, 3 first-round picks. Realistically, that 2025 first-round pick from Charlotte is top 14 protected. Meaning, this year, Charlotte sucks. They're going to be a lottery team, meaning it's not going to convey this year. It'll convey to next year, which converts it to 2 second-round picks. So you got 5 second-round picks and 2 first-round picks. 2027, Victor Wembanyama is still going to be on this roster. The Spurs are going to be good. Minnesota in 2031, who know what they look like? So realistically, sure, like that might be something worth, right? Anthony Edwards might be gone. All that experiment might be gone. So you're banking on that. Let's talk about the Spurs first, because now you have a roster of whether you decide to start, Fox and Chris Paul together, or maybe you go Fox and Castle, some sort of lineup like that. But we'll start with them. And we'll just talk about the Spurs depth chart and how it's going to be conveyed in this upcoming after the trade deadline. So right now it's listed as De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, Victor Wembanyama. Coming off the bench, you have Chris Paul, you have Jeremy Sohan. I mean, Keldon Johnson is still on this roster. Like, it really feels like they didn't give anything up. They just acquired. You gave up Zach Collins? Like, I mean, come on. That lineup of Fox, Stephon Castle is about to be legit, learning from both De'Aaron Fox and Chris Paul. Like, he's got the skill set to be a guy like De'Aaron Fox. He's got the speed. He can handle the rock, right? I mean, he doesn't shoot the ball that well, although he's just a rookie. But I really like this lineup now. And the fact that you didn't give up the Hawks' first-round picks at all in this deal is absurd. How the Spurs managed to go to the Kings and say, hey, we want Fox, but we're going to give you a Charlotte first-round pick that's realistically, it's not a first-round pick. And then 2 future first-round picks when we're good, and Minnesota, who knows? That, like, I don't understand how the Kings continually get finessed. Right? Your lineup now, I mean, I want to see the Sacramento Kings lineup because their depth chart is just not going to be what it used to be. As in, what I'm referring to here is right now your lineup is set as Malik Monk as your starting point guard, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Sabonis. Right? With that 5, like, that sounds like the Chicago Bulls a few years back. When the Chicago Bulls had Lonzo, Zach LaVine, DeRozan, when they had Patrick Williams, Vucevic, that is exactly a very similar lineup there. Where, yeah, Malik Monk and Lonzo are not comparable. I'm not getting at that, but I'm saying the ideology of, like, you just have this mediocre lineup that is not going to compete in the West. And then the Bulls. How do you not get you get your own first-round pick back, which is cool. So now you can really tank. They're probably going to trade Vucevic and be more active on the trade deadline. But the Bulls' depth chart is just, you got back Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, right? Your lineup right now looks like Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Io, Patrick Williams, Vucevic. Didn't change anything really in the starting lineup besides Zach LaVine. Lonzo Ball, Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins is your third string center. You got your own pick back, which is cool, but you should have been way worse this year. You shouldn't be around the play-in if you're going to be bad. Like, if you want your first round pick, you should have been terrible at the beginning. I'm so impressed with the San Antonio Spurs organization and how they managed to not only keep their rookie this year, their rookie last year, but just keep all their young talent together still. Get rid of the old, some of the older veterans on this roster besides Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul, who actually have been beneficial to this roster, and not give up those Hawks picks. How in the world, if you are Sacramento, if you're Chicago, are you not getting one of those Atlanta Hawks picks? This year especially, because Jalen Johnson, just season-ending injury. So if I am the Sacramento Kings, I'm saying, all right, either you're going to give us, I don't give a damn about that Charlotte pick because it's not going to be a first-round pick this year. It's going to convey to 2 second-round picks next year. So, and the odds of you actually turning a second-round pick into something worth it is not legit, right? The percentage is so low. I just don't understand this whole thing with how the Kings continually get finesse, right? I'll give them a benefit of the doubt that they went at this offseason, right? They got DeMar DeRozan and they didn't get finessed there, which shout out to them for that, right? But you left your arguably one of the greatest Sacramento Kings in history. He just kept saying, hey guys, I want to win a championship. I want to be a part of some sort of contention. Can you make a move? And you don't do anything year after year after year. And your track record of drafting has not been good as an organization as a whole. So why are you so focused on first round picks? Go get young talent. Stephon Castle was sitting there for you, right? It's just frustrating. Now, a lot of this frustration just comes from the fact that I'm from Northern California. I'm a Celtics fan through and through, but of course I've been to a lot of Kings games. Now, if you're a Sacramento Kings fan, I feel so bad for you because you have to go through another mediocre season of, hey, we're going to be the 10 seed. We're not going to be bad enough to where we're going to get a top 5 pick and hopefully be in the Cooper Flags sweepstakes, but we're not going to be good enough to where we're going to be drafting somebody super good. The ideology of every year you take your pick and you draft another guard and another guard and another guard and another guard. I mean, I guess in this theory, it works because you traded away arguably one of the best Sacramento Kings players ever. How do you make your superstar, your face of the franchise, at the end of his career would have gone down as one of 2 all-time greatest Sacramento Kings ever? How do you just let him walk out? Similar to the Mavericks, right? When we were talking about Luka and everything and the idea that there's no way that they were just like, hey, you know what? Let's get 80. Now, it sounds like actually the GM was thinking that. So that's wild to me. But a standard, your superstar player. You know what the Bucks did when Giannis was unhappy? They went and traded for Drew Holiday, and then they went and won a championship. They actually made the moves to go acquire players. Now, this next time that he's unhappy, what do? They trade for superstar Damian Lillard. How does that not ring a freaking buzz in your head if you're a Kings GM of Luka just got traded? Right? Luka got traded for Anthony freaking Davis. And the best that you could do is bring in old school freaking Chicago Bulls that did not work. So I wouldn't be surprised if now this offseason, if Sabonis is hey, look, I'm good. I'm out. Right? Especially playing in such a small market. He is not getting the recognition that he deserves, to be honest. He was snubbed of an all-star. I will admit that he was snubbed. He should have been in there. But he didn't make it. Small market roster. He's not a super entertaining player to watch, as in like he's not going to have the flashy highlights and everything, but what he does have is he puts points on the board and he gets boards. Like, he is he's a really good player. But I wouldn't be surprised if this offseason the Kings are like, I'm out. Like, Sabonis, I want out. And then same thing with Chicago. Chicago's about to be very active, but you turned DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine so far into, and we'll throw Alex Caruso in there too. Alex Caruso is a part of that. You turn that into Josh Giddey, Zach Collins. You got your own pick back, Kevin Huerter. Like, there's the one good thing that I will say about the Kings trade in general is the fact that you got rid of Kevin Huerter, right? You had to get rid of him to make the money match. Zach LaVine was somebody who initially wanted to sign with Sacramento before Chicago matched the money, so that's cool. But long term, I mean, what is the plan here? Like, this has to be the kind of move where you can't be done. Because, like, I'm just like, it's just such a head scratcher here of like, just on paper, that lineup sounds terrible of Malik Monk, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Sabonis. If I am a guard in this league, I'm like, my mouth would be salivating because like, you're going to be eaten that night. Every night. Like, who's defending Steph Curry? At least like, I understand the idea that he's obviously going to get his, but all that. But like, if I'm a guard, even Jamal Murray, even, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, all these guards, like, shoot, Austin Reeves is going to be licking his lips when he plays the Sacramento Kings because he's going to be defended by DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine, both bum ankles. Or like, DeMar DeRozan don't even tie his shoes. He'd probably be a decent defender had he tied his shoes, but he doesn't. Zach LaVine, bum ankles. Not the same player he once was. Malik Monk, he is your best guard defender, right? Oh, okay, then off the bench, Keon Ellis comes in. Cool, right? Austin Reeves is next to Luka. Keon is probably going to have Luka as the assignment, right? That's what I'm getting at, is like, every team has multiple decent guards. It's just baffling to me. And I'm so frustrated at the Sacramento Kings organization and like, free Sabonis. That's what this new trend should start. Free Domantas Sabonis, because at this point, get him off, get him away. If you're Chicago, trade Vucevic. Like, you got to start getting picks. Seriously. Trade freaking Josh Giddey if you have to. Trade Io. Trade Vucevic. Kobe White. Adios. Like, get rid of all of them. Like, shout out to the Spurs, though. The Spurs literally must have been watching my previous video when I said, hey, this might start a domino effect. I said that. It's going to start a domino effect of like this, and it started. Luka gets traded. Boom. Sacramento, they freak out. They panic. Trade. Right? San Antonio is like, we can get better. And we don't need to panic because technically, like, this wasn't necessarily, like I just touched on in the last video, this wasn't necessarily like a year you had to make a move, right? You're still developing Victor in his second year. You're still developing Stephon Castle in his rookie season. But they were like, this deal is too good to pass up. Technically, we gave up, 4 first-round picks? But one was ours? One. The Charlotte pick was Charlotte's. San Antonio, their own. Minnesota's. And freaking Chicago got their own back. It's like, that's what we're talking about here, is this is finessing. This is top of the league finessing right here. Is like, shout out to the Spurs. Again, round of applause to the Spurs. If you guys enjoy this content, do me a huge favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment down below on what you think, how you think this trade went down, all the ins and outs and all that. Without further ado, guys, it's been another Heart Over Height episode, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.